Welcome to the P's and Q's podcast. I'm your host, Quené Forée, and I'm living my best life. And I want to help you live your best life. On today's episode, I have a remarkable woman here to share her story and her shine with you guys. You guys are going to be blown away by this story that she has and all of the wisdom and lessons that she brings to her coaching and everything that she does. Her name is Ashley Stahl, and she is a counterterrorism professional turned career coach. She hosts a podcast called The U-Turn and is an internationally best-selling author, certified meditation teacher who's so passionate about helping others make a U-turn where they discover their truest selves. Welcome to the P's and Q's podcast, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it really is an honor. You inspire me so much. I was watching your TED Talk, and I'm just so honored and grateful that you are here to share your journey with us because you have so much to offer. But before we get into that, we got to do our fun facts, people. So I will start with my fun fact. You guys know I love music. You know, I come from a musical family. I think I talked about playing the clarinet, but I didn't tell you what my first instrument was, and it was the piano. And I was 3 years old here in LA, and I was in Mrs. Eva's piano class.
Mine is that first of all, I have a little bit of a cupcake addiction. So I go to cities and I always try to find the best cupcake. Another random fun fact is I'm fluent in French.
Oh, wow. I love this. And what is your favorite type of cupcake? Like a red velvet or a lemon or a vanilla?
Mm-hmm. I actually think vanilla with frosting is like totally underrated. I feel like not all vanillas are created equal and they all have different flavor palettes. So I'm always keen to see how good somebody's vanilla actually is.
Oh, I have a lot of questions for you as a fellow cupcake obsessor, for sure. I love cupcakes, so I will be asking you offline your favorite places. Yay! So thank you, Ashley. Thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting this invitation. It means a lot to me. You are certainly someone that I look up to and such an inspiration. All of the guidance and wisdom that you share in this world. I want to go back to this TED Talk that you did. Yeah. Your TED Talk right now has over 8 million views.
Yep.
It is ranked in the top 100 of all TED Talks ever existed. Mm-hmm. And your story is so captivating, and how you turn that into a real actual pathway for people to walk is remarkable. Can you tell us, I mean, I know where you got the vision from, but can you tell the audience who hasn't heard it yet a little bit of background about what I'm talking about?
This was the most recent TEDx I gave was my second one. And I think the first one is actually quite funny. I had never spoken on a stage in my life, and I came straight out of working in counterterrorism. And I got this TEDx opportunity because they were fascinated by my work on Afghanistan in my early 20s. And I remember kind of pulling a doozy on the TEDx stage and talking about my new career as a career coach and shamelessly self-promoting. The talk was not bad. It was good. But this most recent one was about my dad getting a phone call from an unknown number and somebody pretending that they were me and somebody pretending that they kidnapped me. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, there's a lot of people around the world who call different phone lists and keep saying, "We have your daughter," with somebody screaming in the back seat until somebody stops and actually believes them. And so, with the rise of AI, this is becoming even more of a thing where, AI can emulate your voice and call somebody on your behalf and sound like you.
Yep.
So my dad got one of those calls a few years ago, somebody saying, "We have your daughter. We're going to kill her if you don't pay us this ransom." He was walked through a whole process, ended up at the literal bank, wiring money to these people that didn't actually have me kidnapped. Meanwhile, I wasn't answering my phone because I was in a meeting. And when I got out of the meeting, I had a text from the sheriff in Los Angeles letting me know that somebody asking if I'd been kidnapped. And I said, "No, I'm sitting in a meeting." And I called my dad, and he was in tears. And I'll never forget him stopping a wire right before he was wiring like his life savings basically to these people.
Oh my gosh.
And he's going to be 80 this year. So it's like just so heartbreaking to me because as a daughter, you have little beliefs that like they took years off of his life or something, like the amount of fear he was in And I spent days at his house with him after because he was just so traumatized. He wanted company with me. So that was kind of the spark for my most recent TEDx talk, which is about how to figure out what you really want. And
Yeah.
what I realized in kind of processing this happening to my dad was, these kidnappers are like a lot of us in one way where they, maybe we're not totally like them, but, the idea that they took on a career because they felt like they had to. And they, I don't know, felt like cornered by life, like they had to just make a choice. I think a lot of people feel like they need to just take a job to pay the bills and get by. And maybe there's people who are doing these fake kidnappings, just like, I mean, because who in their right mind wants to scare the shit out of people and, take all their life savings and make them suffer? Like, I don't think anyone in their right mind wants that for someone. So I think the only explanation that I could come to was that they were desperate in doing that. And it reminded me of so many of us who feel desperate in our careers for a sense of purpose, to pay the bills. So many different reasons that we feel that
So
desperation.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you flip it in the end of the TED talk and give really clear guidance. Like if you're finding yourself doing these things because you think you have to, what if you're in a marriage
Yeah.
that you know you're not supposed to be in, but you're afraid to leave, or in a job or that you can't leave, and giving clear clear guidelines, and then also giving permission to one, acknowledge those feelings. Hey, we're having an emotional experience here. And then two, not allow it to debilitate you, allow it to motivate you and take action. I love that you do that.
One of the things that have become so clear to me is how real it is that you really do get paid well when you be you. And I think the real work in life is to figure out who is you? Who
Who
are
are
we?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't really know who they are, what they like, much beyond, their favorite type of, soda and what they like to snack on and what kind of music they like. We don't really know ourselves. And I think it took a pandemic, unfortunately, and I think a lot of time at home for people to really feel the effects of that on their mental health, because they had to sit
Yeah.
and be with themselves, and not, hide in socializing, which, I mean, human connection is so important, but I think we can hide behind being busy. Your career is always in transition. We as humans are always in transition. Our skin cells are renewed every 7 years. We have a different set of skin cells. So we're literally physically new,
Yes.
mentally new. And I think with that comes the honoring that we are always going to be in some form of transition. We are always going to be in some sort of season that is in the in-between. And I think our relationship with the in-between is the thing. I think
Yeah.
really taking a look at, like, what is your relationship in those moments where you don't yet know who you want to be? What's your relationship with not having the answers? Do you grab onto something for the sake of having it and create a new career path? Or do you let there be a slow simmer and a slow burn? Do you let yourself be in the experimentation of life, in the creativity that is life?
I love that.
Thank you.
That's the place to be, right there.
Yeah.
Surrendering to it all. Your podcast, the U-Turn podcast, which has 2 million downloads. It's also ranked in the top 100 for mental health shows in the United States. Congratulations for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. On your podcast, you are helping people make those U-turns as well, correct?
The show is really to help elevate people's mindset in work, love, and in life in general. So my intention is to bring on guests every single week that help people shift the way that they're looking at things in a way that helps them have more fulfillment. I think every belief we have is technically kind of made up, so we might as well make up good ones and feel good. I know there's a fine line between, being visionary and telling yourself something versus feeling delusional. But I think that with real tools, we can rework our mindsets. And that's what the U-Turn podcast is really there to do, whether you want to create more success in your love life, your work life, etc.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
Was there a point in your life when you had to take a U-turn?
Yeah. I mean, working in counterterrorism and then realizing that it wasn't the right career path for me was a huge reckoning. I invested all of my money, time, and energy into my education in counterterrorism and learning the languages, going to get the degrees. and then landing the actual job was such a process, years and years of my life, student loans. And I think a lot of people relate to that. A lot of people go to medical school, go to law school, get any sort of degree, and they feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be wasting my time. But I do think that experimentation is the cost of admission.
Mm.
And I think that when people don't want to go through the experiments to figure out what they're meant to do, they're missing the reality, which is that you cannot figure out what you want to do if you're not willing to experiment your way there.
Oh, come on. Drop those gems. I love that. That's so true. My life philosophy is about experiences, having experiences, making observations, and then having information to then make better informed decisions.
Exactly.
It's so easy for us to get caught up in the time spent acquiring that information. Well, I don't want it to be a waste. And, oh, this relationship has been this many years. But what if we make that U-turn and we walk ourselves into the best version of ourselves, to everything we ever wanted? That is the great reward.
Yeah. Yes, and the best version of ourselves is always moving. Our purpose is always moving.
Yes.
How we think, what we think about what is our best is always going to change, especially based on our priorities. So I think what my stand is for people to make it safe to be in transition, make it safe to be in experimentation, make it safe for yourself to be curious. Growth is messy. Like, think about a butterfly in a cocoon. It looks pretty messy when they're a caterpillar is transitioning into an entity that can fly. And I think that's the case with so many of us.
Agreed. For sure. Oh, I love the analogy with the butterfly, because I love butterflies. I am a butterfly. Awesome. Always evolving, always expanding. You also help people get on the TEDx stage with your coaching. Yeah. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that? Because I know there are a ton of people who are going to want to reach out about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. This is a brand new offer. We're taking 5 people a month. I've been private coaching for years on people's career pivots, and I'm taking a step back very soon to full-time be helping speakers, authors, entrepreneurs book and write the talk of their life. So I think the power that this TEDx talk had on me, where it changed my business and changed my brand and just gets my voice out there to people who need to hear it. I think everybody's voice is meant to be heard by somebody uniquely. I'm here now offering a program. The application should be up by the time this goes up. It's at ashleystahl.com/talks, I believe. Let me take a look. ashleystahl.com/talk, TALK.
/talk. Okay.
And you can apply there. And what I'm basically doing is taking on 5 entrepreneurs a month. We have a big PR team behind us that is pitching. We have a 97% success rate in landing entrepreneurs' TED Talks. And so if you want to book and write the best talk of your life, we need to write it before we can pitch it. I'm working one-on-one with clients, helping them brainstorm their big idea, helping them make their speaking outline. I worked in the Obama administration when I was in national security. And so I learned a lot in public speaking through him and his structures.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I am here. I am ready. And if anyone who is listening is an entrepreneur, a content creator, and you really want to get your voice out there, you want to make an investment in yourself, I'm here to write your talk with you and get you booked. And just head on over to ashleystahl.com/talk.
You guys heard it. I will also have the link in the description below, in addition to the links for Ashley's TED Talk, her coaching, and her podcast. Ashley, can you tell everyone where they can find you to connect with you, in addition to your ashleystahl.com/talk?
Yeah. I pop on Instagram here and there, but I would say the best place to really connect is on the U-Turn podcast. Every single week, I'm putting out solo episodes, guest episodes. It's YOUTURN, and it's 2 words.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I want to thank you from my entire heart for taking the time to be here on the P's and Q's podcast to share your wisdom, share your gifts, share your heart, share your love, share your light as you do in this world. You are so divine, and we thank you.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. And as always, you beautiful people on the other side of this screen, I love you. Keep shining.